Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today I just wanted to do a video showing a few more books in the collection that I might be able to share with you guys today. I wanted to start off with this one, which is Illustrations of Rome from 1748 or 1720, and I can't find any others to back this up right now, so in other videos coming up in the future I'll have more that correlate to this. But what I wanted to show on this image is you see all these parts of here and here and here and all the way around. If you look closely at them, what you see is the dots and stuff. This is all plans for buildings, so they would be pillars. Them circles would be pillars, like you see on the Greco-Romano. And these squares would be rooms, and this would be an open area, maybe an open court, or even inside open area. But basically, on all of these broken, what appear to be rocks or whatever, it's showing parts of the city plan that used to exist, I suppose, or didn't exist, I don't know. But how magnificent if all this did exist, and I'm thinking it did, because like I say, with the other books I've got, there are actual plans, not like this, but proper plans of towns and stuff, and it looks magnificent. It looks truly magnificent. I've just got to try and find them books again. But these are parts of Rome. Really interesting. And it does have other stuff in there as well, of buildings that used to exist, and some that still do as well. I don't have too long for each book, so I'll just go on to the next one, but I'll leave all the links for these below so everyone can get them and look through them. The next one was French Architecture, second book. This one, yeah, that's a plan of a building. How phenomenal is that? Excuse me. So, you've got all these pillars. A square, not round, but I imagine that's because the base of the pillar is square, and then the pillar itself would be round on top of it and smaller than it, so you can't see it in there. But all these rooms, you know, we don't build like this anymore, where you have, imagine that being 100, 200 metres long, and that's just the side part. You know, across the front it's even longer, and plus the building goes back even further, and you've got all this garden area out here as well. It's just truly magnificent, and like, I don't know if they're stables or whatever, but there's loads of them down the side. It's just a massive, massive building, absolutely huge. What's it say name? Plan Arrêt des Chasseurs de tous les bâtiments de Hotel Royal des Invalides. So it was a place, or is a place, well, probably was a place. It's just massive, it's really magnificent. And to be building buildings like this over 100 years ago, well, this would have been thousands of years ago, being in Rome, but building anything even over 100 years ago like this, in my perspective, is impossible. You know, if you don't have vehicles or the technology to do things, to move massive blocks and massive amounts of materials, if you've only got horse and cart on muddy roads, and in Britain where it's muddy most of the time, it'd be near impossible to ship everything around and to construct such magnificent architecture. There's lots of details about the building there, and plans and stuff for buildings. And these buildings as well, in them days, you know, because they're made of stone and they're strong material in themselves, you don't have so many other materials to build it up like you would have nowadays. But there's another book anyway, with some of the kind of buildings that were about then, and the designs internally, externally, and plan views. And you can tell that when these were built, I know there's not a lot of proof at the moment about roads in the old days because of the mud flood, but there most certainly was. You can see how much effort they put into all their steps and everything as well. I mean, nowadays we wouldn't even have side steps, you know, we'd just have a one-way step system or something like that. Whereas here, you know, they've considered it at all angles. I don't know if that's stables or rooms, but don't they look like parking spaces? Oh, they'll be a bit close. The amount of staircases within this building. So this is one building with an inside court, grand court or whatever. And you've got, what, one set of stairs? Zoom in a bit. Got a set of stairs there. 1, 2, 3. So a couple of steps there. 4, fancy set of steps. 5, 6, and a couple of steps there. 7, 8. So you've got 8 sets of steps for that building to get upstairs. So that's another book that I thought I'd share. Hopefully someone will enjoy looking at that. See, look at that. Doesn't that look like where ground level is nowadays, how you would see buildings like this and you would have this as your entrance to the front door. You might have the ground level down here and then have some grand steps going to these pillars as your entrance. Whereas when this building was built, it looks like it was just a feature above rather than a ground level entrance. But this is all plans for one building. All that. Chamber, couche, cabinet, antechamber, salle, vestibule, antechamber, antechamber. So they truly knew how to build back in them days. Anyway, we'll get on to the next book. So this one, it's got a sphere in there, but astronomical illustrations from 1557. So it's got a sphere in there, and Copernicus did bring out his theory of the globe around the 1500s, so this could be just follow-on information from his teachings. The reason I've put this book on, and I've found it quite interesting, is because it's basically a book of images like this. So that's the stars, and then the story in the stars, all the images. And then you've got different ones. You've got about 4 or 5 of them. And with regards to all the old clock towers and stuff, where they have the cymatic architecture taken out, and they've just been filled in or whatever now, and you just see that there was something circular constructed in the past when that tower on the building was built. What if they had clocks like these in them? Just like a suggestion really, I don't know if they were or not. Maybe they took down the cymatic architecture and put up clocks, and then nowadays taken down the clocks and filled the hole with bricks. But I don't know. The Romans seem to do this for all sorts of information. I don't quite understand what each of them are for. But all these are really detailed for being able to work out basically minutes and seconds on angles, which is basically what they do when they're at sea as well. There's loads of them. So that's there if anyone knows Roman and figure it all out. That'd be great. Next book. So this one. Yeah, so all of these books are illustration books really. I went through my list and rearranged them into alphabetical order, and there was just a whole section that began with, each of the books began with the word illustration, so I went through them and I thought I'd select some of the good ones for you guys today, and as you can see up here they all begin with the word illustration. But this one was about America from 1625. I don't know when it was. Was it Columbus went over there? I don't know. But anyway, this is from then. They don't really look like the Indians that we're told were there, do they? I don't know though. So from 1600s they had a map like this in this book, and I don't know if New York's somewhere around here. I don't think Britain would be up here somewhere with Paris being here, so I think it's not that accurate. I think this land should be a bit lower. I don't know, but also up here you can see where California is its own island there, with some miniature islands in between. And strangely enough, you've got Septentrionalis, where America is, and then what would be the Northlands around the North Pole is called America for some reason. So I'm wondering if they'd actually been up here or anywhere around now at this time, if they were just basically guessing or taking other people's drawings and adding them to their own. That definitely shows California as an island there, and that this map was from 400 years ago. And if Columbus took people over there, Irish or whatever, in the 1500s, and this is the 1600s, in 100 years, you know, there was enough people to fill up Canada, America, and they're all really full as well. But how could Ireland and a few other countries send over a small percentage of their people and just make this many towns in 100 years? Crazy. Americae description. So I don't know if these islands are about today or not. I don't know what they're supposed to be. Can't read. Anyway, so the book kind of depicts, it's foreign so you have to translate it, but it depicts what was seen when they got over there, or when they made this book anyway. I don't know if that's fortified or not, but I don't know, it looks like there's walls, but then can't really tell. So yeah, this kind of shows what it was like over there. Haven't translated it, so I don't know what it says. This was quite intriguing when I saw this, but it looks like you've got people down the bottom what seems to be like starting a fire on the inside there. I don't really know. But you've got giant beasts on top fighting, and then you've got two people throwing a guy over the top, over the side. I don't know if that was like a giant statue, if it even existed at all, or if it's just a drawing. But it was quite interesting either way. I don't know what's going on here. There's human remains there. Some weird thing there. No weird thing there. No one there. Some weird stuff going on there. Volcanoes erupting. So yeah, it's got some interesting stuff in it to look at. Yeah, so what Martin was saying the other day about the comets, yeah, it kind of makes sense, making the mud floods really, because with the fasces it's really interesting, but I couldn't see how that was creating the mud flood. I could see how it might be blasting holes through fort walls, but not making the mud flow. But the comets bringing the flux of electricity with them and doing what they do. I think that makes more sense. I know that didn't make sense, but if you watch Martin's channel, you know what I mean. So yeah, a lot of these books, when people are going around in the 1700s as well, there's a lot of doom and gloom and destruction and that going on. So how could they build stuff like this whilst all the plague and doom and gloom and destruction is going on, whilst not having the technology to be able to mine, manufacture and move all the stuff? Spiral pillars. I mean, to build stuff like this, the money system back then must have been totally different to what we have now. I mean, how could anyone afford anything like this? Even now, you know. I mean, to build something like this, it would take, I don't know, a lot. Couldn't even guess. So the next book, yeah, this is a comet one. I found this one, and it's from 1518. And it goes on about some comets, and it depicts them differently as well. So this comet came through in 1744. 17, the one is actually a 1 here. Usually at 1700s it's an I or a J, but this time it's a 1. Just thought I'd bring that up. And it's also trying to show how it goes around the globe for some reason there. But yeah, this is a depiction of what looks like what we would draw as a star for a comet. And what it looks like is there's mud flow outside the city as it's passing by, with lots of smoke in the sky. This one looks like, I don't know, a sun, also leaving smoke around as it passes through. It's not so much a comet, but it's got a fasces in action. It's got a shining pyramid with an S in it, and a cauldron of coal, I think. Quite an odd one, but this one has something I can't even explain coming out and causing something to happen. I'm not sure what, because it's firing it at the people. If it was firing fire, then you know they'd be burning up. And that's how we would draw a star again. Strange building, eh? Is that showing them in mud or behind? There's a comet that looks like, I don't know, UFO, something like that, whilst the sun's in the background. There's that unexplainable thing again with like fire from the sky. Once again, just muddy hills around. That one's a picture of two suns in the sky. There's a thing again. There's see, there's different ways they're drawn. I don't know if it's the same artist. It must be the same artist, the same book. So they must be different looking when they come by. Must be different types of ones. I guess that's an eruption of a volcano. There's one with 3 suns. And there's just lots of little, I don't know, things with rockets on the end that's just firing out fire everywhere. Once again, town looks like there's just mud everywhere. I don't know if the buildings are behind the hill or the mud has just filled up around it. So it's got like a shield. I don't know what that is. The sun. Don't know what that is, and I don't know what that is. I've not been very informative today. Sorry, guys. But some quite interesting pics in there. It goes on. Crack on, because I ain't got much time left. This book, yeah, I wanted to share this one. It's really interesting. This one is illustrations of an unknown fortification, and it goes into quite a lot of detail about how to build this star fort. And it's from 1756. So the fact it's unidentified means it's either was built and it was an old one, or it was just plans for one and it never got built. But it's got a lot of detail here, and you know, anyone could pick this up and carry on if they wanted. That's just like the general point. Doesn't have the explanations of the letters, but you can see that it's all been worked out properly with angles and stuff. So here would be like a side view, and that would be the outside wall. That would be the inside of the star fort there, and then that would be the other outside on the other end. And this would be like underground piling strength, foundation strength. And this would be inside the star fort here. So the person here is in there, protected, looking out, down. And, you know, the people attacking would be coming across here at low level. Excuse me. And I'm guessing this is different when you've got different layers of the fort. You build certain points to certain heights so you can, you know, obstruct their view when they're trying to break through. It goes into details of how this stage will be made. Obviously there's no text to explain it, but you can see it. And this is where it's building the city inside. Putting a bridge in, and then there's the roads. And the central bit ready for the tower. And it's just like a bit more detail. So yeah, there's just loads and loads of detail in here of how to build this star fort. And I just found it really fascinating, because I'm guessing it's similar principles with it. Well, that kind of looks like the Malta one. I wonder if this is the Malta star fort, because that's an amazing star fort. Right, chat. don't know. But yeah, once that central section is built, they start building around. I think what they do is, you know, they take away the earth and then build the wall as they take it away, build down. And yeah, it just makes it ever more difficult for the people outside to get in. And it doesn't mean you don't, if you was building it on a flat land, you'd have to start with the outside first, out here. And it would be really difficult to build the wall that to a certain height, then to fill in the inside to a certain level with earth, and then to build that next wall to a certain height and then to fill it in. It would be extremely difficult to go that way, so it makes more sense that what you would do is you'd find a high bit of ground somewhere with water stream running through it or whatever. You'd build a central point in the highest point, and then you'd slowly take away dirt from the outside, lower the ground level around it. And once you've built this, you know, you could keep the ground level low for quite a distance away, so that no one could bring some ladders and, you know, step over it. You know, make it so you're protected. If that made any sense. But yeah, it's just magnificent. There's loads and loads of detail in this. That's another book for you guys to have. This is another one about comets. It's only a picture, but I thought it was quite interesting how it showed how it kind of came over the sky at an angle, and that it's not spinning around as it's going across, but rather it's facing one way, you know, as it slowly rotates as it traverses through its path. And it's weird that it's moving that way, but it's not firing off in its backwards direction. It's firing off perpendicular to the path that it's going at. Can you see what I mean? So it's travelling that way, but the flame's coming off that way. This book illustrations, Ambassade, a campaign Oriental, so Oriental provinces and the Emperor of China from 1665. So you can see that they were quite wealthy in them days, dressed quite well. They're also playing with their balls and doing bad things to people. So yeah, on this map, this would be basically where Tartaria is. Pardon me. And you've got here Korea, but spelt with a C. You've got Japan, used to be Japan. And you got that's China down there. All this would be Tartaria, and so I saw this on here. So when I go back on Google Earth next time, I'm going to try and look for where this river was or is or whatever, because there seems to be a lot of towns in that name down here as it goes all the way down. So I wonder if that's basically the river of life for the majority of the people back then. But oh yeah, it says there Tartary, so it is still Tartary then as well in 1600s, but we knew that anyway. Batvia. So this isn't English either. I had some illustrations in it that look quite good. I bet that don't exist anymore. Look at all that floor, tiling everywhere. Isn't that amazing? See, as well, when you're looking at all these older pictures of cities, and they're drawn like proper 3D, you know that they have been up in the sky when they've drawn that, because this is how I imagine people, before they were acquainted with high flying, would have drawn 3D images. So they've tried to make it 3D. You look down here in the water and you can see you're looking across the water, but then when you get to the land, you know, they couldn't perceive how to have depth to their image, so they've drawn it basically 2D, so you can still see the back as clearly as the front, but that's obviously not right. But nonetheless, as all the times you see these cities, you always see the roads everywhere, and if they didn't have cars and stuff, what's the point in having so much roads? You know, there's just loads of them, and it's not just this picture, it's pretty much any picture that's showing cities that have somehow been destroyed in the past and left there empty, ready for rebuilding. So that's another book anyway. This one was Illustrations de Theatri cometici. I don't know what that means. From 1667. There's a sky and stars. This, I think, is depicting when comets were noticed, like see AC 1444. I'm not too sure though. AC 1500, AC 535. I'm not too sure, but if anyone wants to look into that and find out, that'd be awesome. Yeah, there was something about this as well. So if that's Bethlehem, why is it saying AC 367? What's that, 50, 80, 87 there? Why is it saying 87 when they've just gone to see Christ being born? I don't get it. And I think that there is the name of the town here. So over there is this place. And it's showing they saw it go past at 68, 69, or if that number is 50, 60, 65, 66. Cometa. So a bit confused as to what this is all about. And then and 457, it's got some bird breathing fire over Ireland. Scotland there, England there, Ireland getting burnt with fire there. AC 457. Don't know what that's got